I am no more. I am no more. 12 years ago, this is where Katelynn Sampson ends up. She was no more. She was murdered at the hands of her foster parents. What made this a super tragedy is that Katelynn Sampson was in the care of the Children's Aid Society, an agency run by the Ontario government. After the murder of Katelynn Sampson, the mother was given many slack because she was a drug addict who gave up her child. In this report, there is no slack on the mother. The mother did what she felt was best for the child while she was facing a hardship, and she trusts on the Children's Aid Society of Ontario to oversee the care of her child. They did not. The child went to school with all sorts of bruises, all sorts of scars that showed clear signs that the child was being abused. But yet the schools nor Children's Aid Society report this to the proper agencies that could have done something about it. All different types of agencies was involved in the care of Katelynn Sampson, but yet all of them dropped the ball and neglect this young child to the point where she was tortured beyond the point of death. So Katelynn Sampson is no more. The mother had to bring justice for Katelynn Sampson. So the mother contacted me, Clarke, the interim leader of the People's Political Party of Ontario and a candidate for Toronto mayor. And together we put on the campaign for an inquest into the death of 7-year-old Katelynn Sampson. Astonishingly, 7 years after her death was finally when the inquest came. And when the inquest was called in 2015, a stunning 173 recommendations was put forth by this inquest that held the government of Ontario and agencies of the government of Ontario responsible for Katelynn Sampson's death or could have prevented the death of this child. There was 173 recommendations put forth as to how to change the system to protect children in Ontario in light of the Katelynn Sampson inquest. That was called the Katelynn Principle. The biggest concern that was had by Miss Sampson, the mother of this young child, and her lawyer, was that all these recommendations would come down, but yet they would be shoved underneath the rug, like what happens in many, many inquests. We at the People's Political Party of Ontario, and we encourage the people of Ontario to join our campaign to see that there is justice for Katelynn Sampson. And the only justice that can be brought forth is that the recommendation from the inquest into her death are implemented and put into law in Ontario to protect other children. So we are calling on the current Premier of Ontario, Mr. Doug Ford, to file a report as to what recommendations have been implemented and how many of the recommendations have been implemented, and when the government expects the 173 recommendations to be fully implemented in the province of Ontario to protect children in Ontario. Children have rights, and children are in the home with their parents or their guardian, and the children are at the mercy of their